Cavalier faithful, we are back. 6 people in the chat already. People already flowing in for the halftime show. Derpy, Jeremy, Bebo, welcome. How's it going? Cavaliers are up 57-51 at halftime. Interesting half. Justin's with us. Logan has departed. Logan was here pregame. Justin's here mid-game. Buddy, how are we doing? Give me the thoughts. Give me the vibes. Set the scene for us.
I'm cracked right now. I'm like, I got home. I literally I got done with work. Today's my long days. Unfortunately, I couldn't be here on the pre-show. I really wanted to be. I watched and listened a little bit. Great stuff from you and Logan, of course. But yeah, I was working. I was finishing up at work. It was like 7:20 when I left. Got home, told my dad to throw the game on, threw the jersey on, threw the hat on. It's great to have Cavs basketball.
Shoo.
I mean, it feels really good.
It's awesome.
Not a great start. That first quarter was, you could tell there was a lot of anxiety and excitement and trying to figure things out.
We are little jitters off the rip.
Little jitters. It continued into the second quarter a bit, and then about when Garland got hit. That's kind of, a little bit before Garland got hit, they were coming back and finding a good rhythm. There was a really, really good rhythm with Donovan and Chetty at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll definitely talk about that, but I'm so happy that Cavs are back with the state of sports in Cleveland right now.
What is optimistic to me, and it's not a telltale sign of what will always happen, but I do not really think we played that good.
No.
And we're up 6.
Offensively, we didn't.
And we scored 57. I think a lot of people, the consensus would be, this isn't even close to, obviously, we have 81.5 games left. So your potential, you might not reach your potential as a team, adding an offseason superstar or not until playoff time. We know how this goes. And they still scored 57 points, and you had people contribute who, all right, we get dark Chetty tonight. I know Dr. No will like that one. It's Chetty's world. We're just living in it. But it's 13 points in the first half for Chetty. He'll probably score 0 in the second half. Hopefully not, but you know how he is, streaky. Yeah. Mitchell doing his part. You got to be concerned about Darius. I seen a comment about this. And Jeremy, honestly, and this is an NBA exclusive injury. Obviously, you don't hear about it happening in football because helmets, and it doesn't happen in baseball unless you get hit in the face with the ball.
Yeah.
But you worry about a broken orbital bone.
Yeah.
With that, hopefully not. But he didn't stay back in.
Now we'll get into the gripe here of what I forgot about during the offseason is that I hate NBA refs more than I hate any other ref in the
worst
national sports.
Worst professional referees around are NBA
They waited until Garland was the first guy to get hurt to begin calling fouls our way. Because quite literally, they were calling the worst fouls against us. I watched on the Kevin Love one where he actually got back on transition defense because he slowly was getting down on offense.
Sure.
They waited for the ball to go off of the rim to call a foul. The ball had gone up in the air, had come down, hit the rim, and went out before a foul was called for Toronto. And they were just letting them play. It was like they were letting Toronto play super aggressive defense, which I'm okay with. There's clear evidence that that's good defense, but at times they were getting away with a lot of pushy things that I thought until the Garland injury happened, missed calls.
They did. I feel like they started giving us makeup calls as soon as that call happened, which was weird. And like you said, and I have Ashton's chat pulled up right here, they've had, and this is where I can't even I just stopped putting stock and brain power into it anymore because they've had live interviews with NBA refs and they've admitted to doing this. They said, "Oh yeah, we wait to see if the ball if the ball goes in or not before we blow the whistle." So that's not a conspiracy theory that two random talking heads over on the Cleveland Pulse are bringing to you. That's a thing. Like they wait to see if they want to call it. Multiple refs have said we referee with the flow, ebb and flow in the in like the what word am I thinking of? Like whoever has the momentum, they ref momentum wise. So if a team's on a fast break and they want to call an and one, it might be different than, maybe it's the away team, maybe it's the home team. But you're correct. The NBA refs are terrible. We got some good points in the chat I think we should address.
Lots of good points.
This team does not even have Ricky Rubio. And I think the turnovers were a part of the jitters. Garland with not a great first half, and you're still up six with 57 points.
That's where part of like my frustration was coming in with some of the calls. I just thought some of those calls on some of the Garland plays were like, well, they were non-existent, but I just thought they were like, what are they waiting for with him? But not even really worried about like the turnover problem yet because we're up 57-51 at half again.
You knew it was going to be sloppier basketball.
Yeah, but literally Garland is the only person currently turning the ball over at a unfathomable rate, and we'll see.
And he has the ball a lot. I mean, he did that last year, and he had the ball a lot. And honestly, not to harp on this Garland thing, but what's the did the NBA announce a point of emphasis this year for refereeing? I feel like where was they never even thought about looking at that as a flagrant. I'm not saying it should have been. I'm just saying I feel like last year they would have been right to the freaking desk and they would have been, oh, is it a flagrant? Let's go to New York and see if it qualifies for our rules.
I think anything that is above the head, like if you get whacked in the head, if you get poked in the eye or something, or like, I don't know, something weird happens, like your nose breaks or whatever.
Right.
Like those have got to be checked. Like they're you're vulnerable. And I just think like things like the Garland injury is like,
it'll probably be a retroactive fine.
Yeah, they went so long without making a call. But Jeff, I think getting a little off track here. Let's go to something that I know you are probably itching to talk about. The starting three that we ended up with of Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Karis LeVert, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. First, what is your thought of like, obviously us now knowing what the starting lineup is presumably going to be for the rest of the year, barring injuries, and how did you feel it started out?
I wouldn't get locked into that starting lineup because I feel like depending on outcome, JB might change things. I'm not locked. I'm still not, regardless of who was going to be. It's nice to be correct because that's what I was pounding the table for all off season. But here's the thing, and I've already said it. We have 81 and a half games left. And I don't want this to sound like a huge overreaction off rip or like I'm making a broad blanket statement, but that's what it is. I really do think, come back to this video 82 games from now, I really do think Karis LeVert is like the weird key to this team. We're going to go as far as he's going to play well. You know what you're going to get from Mitchell. You know what you're going to get from DG. You're expecting a jump from Mobley. You're expecting a jump from Okoro. LeVert is the one guy where it's like, is he going to play really good or is he going to be timid around the rim and, hog the ball and make stupid turnovers?
Or is he going to be healthy?
Correct. If LeVert is like your third option, like your elite Andrew Wiggins last year for the Warriors' third option, watch out. If he's average, I just don't know, like, I'm not saying this team can't go far if he's average, but it's so nice if he's like really, really good.
Yeah. Guys, we got to follow Cavs notes that like tweet out like
these they're getting ready to start back up. I don't know about you, but I mean, they're warming up right now. I mean, obviously we can keep going.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I'm cool to stay on here.
People want to watch, put two windows up.
Exactly. Yeah. Or put it on in the background or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I'm on the same page as you. I think like maybe they'll do like 10 games, they'll do 10 games of Karis at the 3. Maybe they'll do 10 games of Okoro at the 3. Maybe they'll do Wade at 10 games and hopefully.
I don't know if it's going to be like that, but it's going to be like teams. Like if we play Brooklyn and Dean Wade starts, I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it could be. I don't know like what the idea of that would be because I think the 3 will be a fluctuating spot as well. The interesting thing will be like, all right, how are we going to finish this game?
Right.
Do we need to put out that like the perfect 5 or whatever we might want to call it, the the competitive five, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'd take it as far as like Harris is going to be the one who is going to like. It depends on him in terms of like how we're only going to go as far as he'll let us. But like, um, God, it's beautiful to just like be back because for me watching, um, what is happening right now? I'm sorry. Something weird just happened on my computer. Anyways, it's so nice to have basketball back because
Basketball is great.
I forgot how single like into like how much of a single individual game it can be, and watching Donovan Mitchell like like being able to watch Donovan Mitchell play basketball. He's the best player on the court. It's very easy. It's very simple to
It's
tell
nice.
as of right now. Like he's the best player for both teams on the court. Now I'm really happy with how Evan has been confident with taking threes and everything.
Yep.
But I'm gonna need him to help Jared out a little bit on the boards.
We are getting out physicaled, and I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, I don't love that, and we're getting out rebounded.
Typical
Which is
us, actually.
yeah, which hopefully that's not the case, but I am liking what I'm seeing so far on a player basis. Donovan looks great. Evan looks like he has more confidence. Jarrett is obviously doing the things that Jarrett's the one guy who's like he just needs to be who he's always been. The guy who is always underneath the basket, is doing his damnedest to get rebounds, play defense, and give guys an easy pass or an easy alley oop.
Right.
So very happy with that. Obviously, what happened with Garland, and do we have like an update now? Is he checked in the game?
Garland is officially out from chat, not returning. DG out for game.
Wow.
So I mean I'm telling you, he probably has broken orbital bone, honestly, or something, and he's gonna either be out. Hopefully not, or he's going to have to play with a mask. I mean, that's the only way I could think of. I don't know. Like, if you get poked in the eye, like, I've never really heard of a serious eye injury. Hopefully that's not the case, but it's probably like his cheekbone or something.
Wow. That
sucks.
So unfortunate, but like, hey, now we get to see our first
game. That's NBA for you.
First game of the season. And, unfortunately, we get to see what this team looks like without DG, and what's the score currently? It's
62-54. I had Gamecast on, but then one of the ads started playing. I had to turn it off.
Doesn't it scare you?
I don't know why I couldn't hear you, and I'm like, I can't even find what ad is playing on the screen.
Yeah, it's dumb, but yeah, we'll just have to see. Now, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have Okoro take over for?
I think Jetty started.
Jetty, okay, because I think I see that's gonna be the interesting thing. It's like
you bump Levert to the de facto too.
I hate that we're already off to this. That like we're gonna have to.
It's typical.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what's wrong with him, and we're gonna have to go into probably the next game, not knowing his status. I love DG, and that just sucks. That's awful. I wanted to go back in there and be like, "Fuck yeah, DG," but what else, Jeff?
That's Cleveland luck for you. Because Van Vliet was down, and then he got up. He didn't have any issues. I don't know what his issue was, but I mean, it's honestly beautiful as I see Donovan Mitchell make a three. It's like he's going to get into those modes where he cannot be stopped. You know, he needs, Austin Carr said it, you need more than one guy on him, unless you have an all defensive first, guard. And this team just doesn't.
He's like, when I say he's very clearly the best player on the floor, there's no doubt, because I watched him do the same play twice in a row where
it was easy.
He drove middle of the court, found Chetty in Chetty's sweet spot twice, wide open. And the one time that Chetty didn't make it, it bounced twice off the top of the rim or off the backboard, and Jared put it in, and just watching his ball handling and the way that he moves into and out of shots is very interesting. I thought he was going to flush the breakaway,
Yeah, he kind of got a bad jump.
and I was like, "Oh, he's going to flush this thing," and then he like quickly realized, "Oh, I don't think so. I'm just going to lay it in."
Honestly, and
Man,
well, the good thing is that Scotty Barnes has 3 fouls. So you get him. Let's get him a 4th one here early. He's one of their starters, basically out of the game, and I think that was the disappointing start from Okoro because he had 2 early fouls. Just
yeah, I thought the foul calling was
suspect.
very bad.
My issue with some of our like Okoro and some people further down on the bench, your Dean Wade, your Lamar Stevens, they're too much. They're still too much of rhythm players. Like, hey, I got to get into this rhythm where everything's going real good. DG, Donovan, even Mobley at some points, they could have ugly possessions, still make a good pass, still score the basketball. And it's like, we see it time in, time out with Okoro. Just he has a really bad first half. He picks up 2 fouls and he has a turnover. And it's like, well,
no, don't hear from him again.
Then you don't hear from him because you really can't. He's not. JB's going to roll with who's reliable. I'm going to be curious to see how the minutes shake out for the rest of the game, though, with DG not out there.
Yeah, I mean, Evans running at 20 right now. Donovan 19, Karras 18, and Garland was at 13. I didn't like the initial rotation switch. I wasn't a fan of, and that was my biggest worry, because it just didn't look good at that moment. But it was Mitchell, Karras, and Okoro with, what was it, Love and Mobley or Love and Allen? Either way, I could just tell, like, one, Isaac doesn't know where to space himself with Karras on the floor. I think that's my biggest eyesore.
They cannot play together.
Yeah, it's like those two, for some reason, they're very much like looking at each other and like being like, all right, should I be here, or like, do you want me somewhere else? And it's just a matter of like, all right, well, you two just cannot coexist for some reason, and that's fine. That's the reason why you went out and you got Donovan, is so that you can try to do all these different things. And it's just going to be a matter of like, all right, you can see with Chetty and Donovan knows how to get Chetty the ball where he wants it. It's going to be one of those things with Karras and especially Okoro is going to be like, there were times where Okoro was open and guys just weren't looking at him. Obviously, I still understand the hesitancy to kick it out to him on the 3-point, but you gotta give him the chances just to know, like, we as fans should be able to have a sense at the end of the season, like, all right, is Okoro ever going to be able to develop something, or is it going to be like, no, it's very clear he's not, and that's that, But
I hope you could have that answer before the end of the season, really. But
yeah, I mean, but it's like you said, it's going to be like the fluctuating minutes with this team, and obviously now with Darius being hurt, like, you're going to need to. We're going to keep saying it, but you're going to need to do to step up, and you're going to need to be able to knock down the occasional corner three. I mean, you can't get a better look than what he had, but I understand, like, hey, Donovan's missed threes today. Garland's missed threes today, but, it is what it is. But
I mean, you feel bad for Okoro, but he's a prisoner of expectations. Like, you're the 5th overall pick. I need you to be better than, like, hey, our 7th option. Yeah, our 6th option. Legitimately, when Rubio comes back, you're pushing our 7th, 8th option. It's not even close.
Yeah. No.
And I don't like how JB, as far as the rotations, if we want to get closer to wrapping it up here, I just don't like how JB is already making these statements that are putting him in a box, because I don't know if you heard it, but our play-by-play guy, what's his name? Mike something, Cavs Mike J on Twitter, but he's like, oh, JB told us that he wants to have Donovan or Darius, one of them, out there at all times. Like,
yeah.
why are you saying something like that? Like, it's not even possible. I mean, I guess it is if you want to go, if you want to be that much into, you know, concocting these lineups, but it's like we don't need one of them out there at all times. You still have Levert, you still have Mobley, you still have guys who could come off the bench and be productive like Lamar Stevens. You know, it's not like to the point where you have to say something like that.
I wonder, because I mean, sorry, long day. Karras, he's been passing the ball well tonight. I'll give him that he's been passing the ball well tonight. I think it's just a matter of like him saying like, oh, with having DG or Donovan in, it's like, all right, as long as I have one of those two guys, they can't. I don't think they can consistently double team as much as like they would like to, just because it keeps two dudes from like getting a breath, and when you're doubling a dude and trying to get back, makes it tough for the other team. But 65, 62.
Our free throw shooting is still horrid. Like, I get Allen's not going to be a good free throw shooter, but I need Mobley to have a better free throw shooting year than he did last year. And I need you just have good shooters. Like Darius, we know is pretty good from the free throw line. Chetty should be the same way. I don't really know how good of a free throw shooter Donovan Mitchell is, but I'm sure we'll find out.
My thing is, like, if you shoot the three really well, you should probably be able to shoot the free throw.
It's normally how it goes.
Like, just a bit better, you know? Like, why would you have so much? Why would you be able to make a corner three more than you'd be able to make a free throw, you know? Like, I feel like that's the case. So, like, I bet you Steph. Well, no, Steph's really good at shooting free throws, but like,
really good.
Steph's probably like, nah, I'd rather shoot a corner three than shoot free throws.
Absolutely.
So, but
I mean, should be a good one here. Still got 1.5 quarters left. Let's go.
It's crazy that ESPN gives you the win percentage in the top right corner.
Yeah,
it's
I don't like that.
Don't love it.
We've been scarred by winning percentages this year.
Yeah.
Not in this sport, but we won't get into that.
Yeah.
All right, but Justin.
It's nice that they're being able to keep like the lead.
Yeah, I do like that.
It's just going to be like, because they can't get behind now. I think that's the biggest problem is like you do have Donovan and you do have Evan, but like at that same time, I think Toronto is more of a team that is susceptible to like if they don't get out to an early lead and maintain it, they're poor because I don't think they have that guy. Van Vliet's interesting because he at some point started feeling himself, and I was like, oh, is he gonna start like going for it? And instantly missed his like first like big pull up three over, I believe it was before the Garland injury. So, but I don't think they got the dudes to mount a comeback is my thing.
I just don't want us pressing if we're down and playing not our style of basketball.
Right.
Where it's like, just keep it consistent and just try to make sure that we stay on this path that we took in the first half. And I really just don't think people understand that Donovan Mitchell's like just a true 3-level scorer. Like, I've already seen it already, the 3-pointer, obviously he could go to the rim, and he's got this little mid-range, turnaround floater game that I just don't really think a lot of people know about. And he's a great passer too. I mean, he's been incredible so far.
He's gonna end this. If he ends this game up with 30 and 10,
shoo.
There was at some point I think I wanted to pose the question to you and Logan about the guys that we have on the court, right, or the guys that we have right now. It's like, all right, who before or with Donovan Mitchell, obviously, who's had the better career? And obviously that's Donovan, like, no doubt. That's a stupid question, but I was trying to like string it along with, all right, well, now who's the best player on this team? And I thought in my mind how it would go is like you'd be like Evan and Logan would go Garland. I don't know why I thought Logan would go Garland. I was like trying to hope that like, all right, whoever Logan says will be the opposite of what I'll say, or I was just going to make it the opposite.
I mean, honestly, as far as like careers, I mean, Mitchell's the correct answer. As far as this year, that's a tough question.
Mm-hmm.
As far as going forward, I would definitely say Mobley's the
That
answer.
was the third question. Is like, all right, going forward,
Right.
who will end up being the best player of the three? And at that point, I was gonna say right now it's obviously Donovan Mitchell
Right.
for me. But I was gonna say in the future, I think Darius can be like Chris Paul level. I'm interested to watch Donovan. Like I'm interested to watch this whole group because
Me too.
when you think about it, it's like, hey, you've brought. I know I'm saying three because we're talking about Garland, Mobley, and Mitchell, and I think that's gonna have to that's gonna end up being like the reality for the future. Is like, hey, Jared Allen, he's not gonna be just another player, but in the eyes of like talent and what Garland and Mobley and Mitchell bring to the table, I think talent wise, those three are very clearly way off the charts and above the rest. But you're right. I mean, it's going to be crazy to be able to like, you kind of hear and you kind of see it because you only watch the national televised games or you watch the playoffs, and that's your only chance that you get to watch a full in game, I don't know what I want to like say. I guess stat line, but that's not repertoire. Like you get to
Right.
watch Donovan Mitchell's entire repertoire right in front of your eyes, and to be able to be like, okay, well Darius can't do that, or oh, I wasn't seeing this from any of our guys last year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we'll have a lot of those moments. I think the one thing I'm waiting for, and I thought he was gonna do it. I thought he was gonna put some dude on a poster.
He can.
I thought he was gonna. I thought he was about to full on put 2 or 3 Raptors guys on a poster, and he had there was too many bodies, but he's so much fun already. He's good at basketball, Jeff. That's basically what I'm trying to say. He's good,
really
at basketball.
He's really good at basketball, and I mean, coming over to the East too. Like you play in your West your whole career. It's not going to be easy for him. I don't think it's going to be easy for him every night like this. Maybe he'll prove us wrong. But Ashton, to your point, and I don't want to sound like a cocky, biased Cavs fan because I do think this Raptors team is good. And I think they have their own talent. I just don't know if like they're that great. I just think they're partially corny. They have all these grinder, try hard players, which I give credit to them and Nick Nurse. But I mean, last year he basically managed them into the ground. He did was play their starters basically the whole game.
That's crazy. That stat line that I heard. Did they say it on live for you, Jeff?
I don't know. What are you referring to?
The Toronto lineup. So, like you were saying, Toronto, the starters. I forget if it was Anobi or if it was Siakam that led the league in minutes per game, and then Fred VanVleet was second.
Yeah, that's all he did last year.
And Scotty Barnes was 10. You got 3 guys on one team in the top 10 in minutes per game, and unfortunately, Austin Carr was like, yeah, that's going to kill you towards the end of the season. And he's like, although they did go 8-10 in their last 10 games of the regular season.
Well, I thought they were going to totally, flare out, and they ended up being one of the better teams at the end of the year. But I just don't like, I don't know, man. They're just corny to me. Like I don't have any beef with them. I just think they're like a group of corny guys. Their fans probably feel the same way about us. But like
I don't like Scotty Barnes, to be honest with you.
No, I think Barnes
he's already whining, and
he's okay. But it's like, who are these guys that they just put together? Like Siakam, how many years has he been in the league? He's been pretty good the last couple. Same with VanVleet. VanVleet was like undrafted or something crazy like that. Like they got an interesting team. I think they'll be fine. I think that you contend for the playoffs pretty easily with their roster.
Yeah, I think they're no. I mean, it's 7, 8, 9, 10 are the play-in teams. I think they're no less than a play-in team for sure, and probably like at their best, maybe like 6, maybe 7. I think, and
they're all just tall.
But the East is like, yeah, and that was the other thing they were saying live, but
scrappy. They're like, that's pretty much the best way I can describe it.
There's a difference between like scrappy and being like a pest, though. I think they're more pesty than they are scrappy. I think
they're like on the verge of dirty.
I think we were scrappy last year. Like, I think when you think of like scrappy play, I think of our team from last year. I think we were pretty scrappy, but like not to the point where like teams hated us because we were like poking them in the eyes and fucking like hogging them in the first half already, you know? So, but Jen, you think we should wrap this one up a little bit?
Yeah, we might as well. We might as well get back to our viewing purposes.
Yeah.
But good halftime show. We got a bunch of people waiting on us in the chat, and we got a bunch of people involved as soon as we started. So we do appreciate you guys. If you didn't, hit the like button.
I wondered because someone in here
hit the subscribe button.
Someone in here said that we should do more of these halftimes, but I don't like. I like it.
Halftime isn't that? I was like, I just forget.
Short.
It was like 9 minutes in, and we were like
we gotta be like in here on here before halftime even starts.
Post game's the way to do it, really.
I like the post game better just because you get the whole story and what's it called? You know what you get the full story, you get everything. The halftime show is like cool. Like if it was like football and we could sit here and talk for like 30 minutes or something, or at least like 20. I mean, it would be nice, but I think we'll stick to post games, maybe pre-games. But Ashton saying recap, I agree. I think the recap is goated.
We love the lives.
Yeah.
But
plus you always get one of two things. You either get to rejoice and have fun, or you get to stress a little bit of or vent a little bit of stress.
Oh, we do that. We do that at an exceptional level. You know that.
Of course.
Honestly, though, we'll be back. We'll be back to not tonight, but hopefully tomorrow. I don't know what your schedule looks like tomorrow, but hopefully we could get involved.
Better
at some standpoint as far as this game, talking about future games on the weekends. On this weekend, and just talking Cavs basketball, which is turned into our favorite thing to do on this channel, which was not even a part of the game plan, the mission statement, the strategy book when we started. So funny how stuff works like that. Not that we weren't Cavs fans, just that we weren't, we wanted to stick to the Browns. So we're glad to do it. We're glad to bring it to you guys out there. Our audience, we really do feel like this is just a big community who comes on here and talks Cavs basketball, complains, rejoices, like you said. So we're expecting more of it. We want to get a bigger crowd, get, bigger people involved. We're going to have some guests on, like we said. We're going to have some guests back who we've already had on. And it's going to be a good season. This is going to be a good game. And we'll catch you guys in the next one for the rest of the third quarter and for the fourth quarter. Make sure you let them know.